So I was not expecting This Is Water to be about life after college or even high school. I was expecting this to be about three fish, um, two of them not knowing what water was. Um, I was definitely one of those kids in high school that did not know what day in and day out meant, the lifestyle that meant. Um, you know, I was fortunate enough that I didn't have to work in high school. I did in the summers, um, so I didn't have to do everything that a lot of the kids now, or the less fortunate kids, have to do or had to do. Um, David did a good job, from my point of view, to see what people are potentially going through, um, and makes me open up my eyes to see what could be happening outside of the way I view things. And I think that has changed my viewpoint a lot. Um, I think this video was actually really good for me to watch just because when you get into dealing with people in public, um, and seeing, like the guy did in the video, the girl with the little kid that was having a temper tantrum, in the checkout line. Um, some people might see that as annoying, um, and I am definitely one of those people. Um, but like it said in the video, her husband might be dealing with bone cancer. She might work at the DMV, and maybe had a stressful day, and she just got caught up in the moment and yelled at her kid. It happens to everybody. I see it all the time. Um, and sometimes you just can't help it. Um, I coach hockey. I coach 13, 14-year-old kids. Sometimes you just have bad days. Sometimes you just want to yell and scream at them, but you end up catching yourself in the end. It might not have been the right choice. Might have been spur of the moment. Um, it happens. Um, you know, I think as far as what David is trying to put out there, he's trying to let everybody know that life after high school isn't what you expect it's going to be. It's not all roses, green grass. You know, it's you go to work every morning. When you get off work, you don't really want to do anything. You want to go home. You want to relax. You want to eat some dinner and go to bed. That's how I am. I wake up in the morning. I go to work. I go to class. I come home. I do homework. I go to practice. I come home. And by that time, it's 10 o'clock and I'm ready to just go to bed. But I know that there's other things that I have to do, um, whether that be laundry or folding my laundry, making the bed, um, cleaning the rooms, cleaning the bathroom, whatever it is. Um, there's responsibilities that I have to take care of. Uh, Going to the grocery store if I'm out of food. There's everything that he was talking about in that commencement speech. I was not prepared for after I graduated from high school. Um, I spent a semester up at school living in the dorms, having a meal card up at Waldorf. I played sports. I didn't have to worry about anything. And coming back home, going to UNI, going to Hawkeye, um, living on my own, it's really changed the way that I view things, the way that I view other people's lives versus my lives, the people that are less fortunate than me, people that can't afford what I can afford, um, even though I am working and going to school. Um, sometimes there's just times that, uh, I feel bad for people. Um, I see it every day. I'm down in Waterloo. I work with people that are less fortunate than I am. Um, but that's based on decisions that they made in their lives. Um, and I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but because I know that in the back of my mind, I have made mistakes. I've said things that I shouldn't have said. I've thought things that weren't the right things to think. Um, and I totally agree with David about what he was trying to get through, that we don't know what people are going through. And it definitely hits hard when you know people that are struggling and you know that there's not much you can do, even though you want to do more than you already have done. Um, it doesn't seem like it's fair. And even though you can only do so much to help somebody out, and then at that point they have to help themselves out too. Um, when you see somebody struggle, or when you see somebody that's having a bad day, um, you can only hope that somebody's there to pick them up, whether it be they had a bad day at work, uh, they had just had a bad day in general. They just found out that their son has cancer, their dad has cancer, their mom has cancer. Um, my grandma died when I was younger. I didn't really know the feeling of losing my grandma because I wasn't old enough. But looking back at it now, as a 20-year-old, I wish that I would have been able to get to know my grandma more. Whereas some people are going through that now in their lives, and when they're going to school, going to work, and they have that on top of what they have to do on their everyday duties, it can definitely be stressful. So if you're in a grocery store and you're running around, running errands, and you see somebody that's down, or you see somebody that's having a bad day, it might not be a bad thing to just do what you can. Maybe pay for their meal or put a smile on their face, say hi to them, ask them how they're doing. You can never do enough to help somebody that's down. And I think that the more that you can help others, even if you don't have a whole lot yourself, I think that's going to put a smile not just on your face, but on everybody else's around you.